This video is on a special type of factoring called the difference of two squares. So you can use this method if the first term and the second term are both perfect squares, and we'll go over what that means again. And there's a subtraction sign in the middle, because that subtraction sign means difference. So what does it mean to be a perfect square? First of all, if it's a variable with an exponent, that exponent needs to be an even number. As long as that exponent is an even number, then that is a perfect square. So yes, the number 4 is a perfect square. The number 2 is not, but y to the second is a perfect square. And then remember what a perfect square is in terms of numbers. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. These numbers on the right-hand side, these are your list of perfect squares. So if they're showing up as the coefficients or the terms, then this is going to be a difference of two squares. So we'll take a look at some different examples to apply this. First example here is x squared minus 16. Now, instead of using our special pattern, you could absolutely go and look at what numbers, pretend there's that missing term of 0x in the middle, what numbers are multiplying to negative 16 and add to 0. And that's perfectly fine, especially because since this is just an x squared, you can use that shortcut method. But also, it is a difference of two squares. I've got my first term as a perfect square because this is an even exponent. My second term, 16, is a perfect square, and then I have this minus sign here. So my factors are simply x plus 4 and x minus 4. So notice that first term in each of my parentheses is the square root of my first term. So the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 16 is 4 and 4. And then 1 is positive and 1 is negative. And that is how we will get to that negative 16. So our second example here is x squared minus 25. Again, x squared is a perfect square. 25 is a perfect square. The square root of 25 is 5. So therefore, our factors are going to be x plus 5 and x minus 5. Now looking at example 3, it looks a little bit more confusing because now we have this leading coefficient greater than 1. So you wouldn't be able to just find what numbers multiply to negative 4 and add to 0 here. Remember, you would have to go through that full factoring with that leading coefficient. So if that is a little confusing to you, please go back and watch that video. But what I do notice is, again, I have a difference of two squares. 4 is a perfect square. I have an even exponent. 1 is also a perfect square. So I'm going to take the square root of my first term. Square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x squared is x. And then the square root of my second term is just 1. So my factors are 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. And my last example here, we have 2x squared minus, 2x to the 6 minus 72. So you might think to yourself, well, none of these are perfect squares. 2 is not a perfect square. 72 is not a perfect square. However, we always have to look to see if there is a greatest common factor first. So they both don't have x's, so I can't take out any x's. But between a 2 and a 72, I do have a GCF of a 2. So I'm going to factor that 2 out. Remember that GCF stays in the front outside of the parentheses, and it just follows the rest of our answers down. So now I have x to the 6 minus 36. Remember, you want to factor it completely. So again, even though the number 6, if 6 was just a coefficient, then it would not be a perfect square. But because it's in the exponent, x to the 6 is a perfect square. We just have to divide that exponent by 2. So the square root of x to the 6 is x to the third. The square root of 36 is just 6. So we have this leading coefficient, or the greatest common factor rather, of 2 in the front. We have the square root of x to the 6 is x to the third. And we have the square root of 36 is 6. Remember our last thing, one gets a positive and one gets a negative. It does not matter which gets which. Now to practice your new factoring skills and your old factoring skills, I want you to go to that document that is attached in this resource chapter. This is your rational functions resources packet. And when you open that document, the first and second page is just on factoring review. I want you to try those 22 problems out at your own pace. Check your work. Maybe you can skip some of the easy ones like number 6, which just has a leading coefficient of 1. But I definitely want you to practice the ones that have that greatest, greatest common factor, that have a difference of two squares, such as numbers 2 and 3. Also ones like number 1, where you have to factor by grouping. So remember, if you see just 4 terms, you go right into factor by grouping. And again, if you are hesitant on how to factor by grouping, please go back and look at that video on factoring with a leading coefficient greater than 1. It does go over factor by grouping once you create those three terms into four terms.